Volume 32 of Attack on Titan is so friggin' hype. Dude, I've heard people say that, okay, after Volume 30, it kind of goes downhill in quality and people don't really like the chapters that have come out after that. And with Volume 31, I guess I can understand that, because after the just momentum of Volume 30 and just how impressive, and it was a culmination of everything Attack on Titan had been building towards, I can understand that after that it would kind of teeter off a little bit because it's hard to keep that momentum going. And so Volume 31 was kind of a picking up the pieces volume, you know, where is everybody located, what characters are left, that sort of thing. But Volume 32, I gotta say, this was actually pretty damn hype. I was pretty excited throughout the entirety of this volume and the mission that our characters had to go on. It has come to fruition, and even the characters themselves are understanding the themes of this series that lies underneath the facade of this is a series about giant monsters or giant creatures or mythological beings and whatnot, but really this is a series about war, propaganda, racism, hatred, justification of horrible actions. Like there are so many things, and I think it was summed up beautifully in just one page by a character named Theo, who's a member of the military of Marley. Sums it up in one page beautifully, and I'm just going to read it to you. I was being flippant when I spoke about justice. That was an unseemly attempt on my part to justify my actions. I was afraid of having to look at myself because it would mean seeing everything contemptible about Marley. This isn't your responsibility, and it's wrong to place the sins of the past on your shoulders just because of your race. There's no reason for you to be burdened with this world's hatred either, but we do have a responsibility to make sure that future generations learn about this foolish, bloodstained history of ours. This page was probably the best page in the entire Attack on Titan manga as far as specifically, explicitly telling you what the themes of this series are all about and bringing it all together in a very concise and easy to understand way. I mean, not the best page as far as like artwork or grandeur or action or imagery or anything like that, but just the best page in fully summarizing every single point that this series has tried to get across and just like condensing it into just one digestible little segment. And I think this is my favorite page of the entire Attack on Titan manga, because really this is truly what it's been all about. This is truly it deals with people covering up history. It deals with people using the sins of the past to justify hatred in the present. It deals with the propaganda and treating somebody else as the enemy. It deals with not telling the entire truth. It deals with justification of horrible actions in order to have peaceful resolutions. All of that is beautifully, beautifully put here, and that was like big enough for me to really love this volume. And then after that, we get this huge battle sequence on the harbor of Paradis that just completely blew me away. This is probably the hypest fight since, I think, when Eren attacked Marley back in like the beginning of this arc in volume 25, because there were so many moving pieces that were happening here, and it was actually done in a very clear, concise way, like the way that it was drawn, the pacing and the paneling, which is like, to me, a night and day difference from the beginning of Attack on Titan, because I talked about in like the very first few volumes, like the first like 5 or 6 volumes when the action was happening, the artwork, for me personally, maybe not to you, but like for me, it was very hard to follow what the characters were doing, where they were, and like how the maneuvering system was working. Like it was just those early stages of Attack on Titan kind of made it difficult for me to understand the action that was taking place. However, fast forward to now, volume 32, all of this was beautifully shown, beautifully paced. The paneling was amazing. The characterizations were amazing. You understood what each and every character was going through. It was insane. And there were so many like anxiety-inducing moments during this entire battle sequence. So, setting the stage. So now we have characters that we have known and loved throughout the entire series. We got, Jean, Armin, Mikasa, Hanji, and like all these characters that are now teaming up with members of Marley, including, Piek, which is the cart titan, and Annie is back now, and we also have Reiner. So they have several titans on their side. Also, Falco, the little boy, Gabby's friend, is also now a titan. So they've got like 5 titans on their side now, and they're all fighting together. And it's just this, they have like very great interactions with each other, particularly with Jean and Reiner, when they basically get everything out in the open. So they have Yelena. She's kind of like a prisoner, but not really. She's with them, but they don't really trust her. They're trying to get out of her. You know, where is Eren at? I didn't realize Eren was moving around, by the way. I thought in his like giant Titan form, he was kind of stuck where he was. I am wrong about that. He can definitely move around, as shown by the end of this volume. But anyways, so she knows where he's going, and they're trying to get that out of her, and she is basically laying everybody's sins on the table as they're talking around a campfire. She is letting them know that, you know, Reiner did that, you know, he broke the walls. Think of how many people were killed because of him. Think of how many people were killed because of Annie. Think of how many people were killed, you know, back in Marley by Armin on the docks and everything. Like, you all have killed innocent people in one way or another, or at least contributed to it. So don't try to talk like you're so much better than everybody else. Now, getting all that out in the open is actually what is the entire point behind what Attack on Titan is trying to say. Because it's trying to tell you to communicate, to talk to each other, to talk things out, something that they never tried. Nobody ever tried between these two warring nations, or between any of the warring nations during this present timeline. Nobody ever tried to just discuss what is actually happening and how they were feeling and where they were coming from. You know, it was all a secret. It was all a cover-up. The government conspiracies, everything that was happening inside of Paradis, with everything behind, like, the king and the true nature of, like, behind the walls and hiding the world, and then everything that was happening in Marley, and the idea that people in Paradis, they're not really devils, they're just people trying to survive just like you and me. Everything that was shady and covered up, all of that is finally, like, revealed and out in the open now. And so it makes sense for the characters to want to be able to discuss their sins as well. What did they do wrong? And recognize that they did do wrong. And, like, I feel the worst for Reiner, who has, like, become my favorite character throughout the course of this series, how he had to admit what he did to Marco, or Marcel. No, Marco. Sorry. Whatever, sorry. Anyways, that's besides the point. That he had to hold him down and allow him to be eaten by a Titan because of what he witnessed. And he was a friend with Jean, and they're sitting right across from each other, and Jean can't contain it, and he goes over and he starts punching Reiner in the face and, like, beating him down, and Gabby tries to protect him and everything. And it's just this horrible moment where, you know, this is all out in the open, and Reiner feels horrible about what he did. Like, he has completely come around to his understanding of the people of Paradis and how he was wrong for doing what he did, and how his entire life, you know, he was pushed to do this, and he realizes that he views himself as a horrible person. He knows that he's not good, and he knows that he did horrible things, and he knows that he can't make up for it. And you just feel that kind of, like, darkness, that depression that runs through Reiner. And you know, whether or not he did allow himself to be beat up by Jean, which I think he did, but you could argue that it was a surprise. You know, he didn't know Jean was going to attack or whatever. But I think Reiner is ready to face any kind of judgment that is coming his way for the actions that he did. So that happened. They managed to pull them off of each other, and then the next morning it was like, okay, back to business. We have to do this thing. So I really liked how everything was being brought out into the open, just as this whole series has been trying to tell us from the very beginning. Once they get to the harbor, though, this is where shit goes down, and this was incredible. I love this battle sequence because it's like there is a boat on the harbor that has a plane in it, which they call a flying boat because that's all they know it as. And this is very dangerous because it could explode, and it's lined with explosives, and if it does, then that eliminates their chance of, like, getting to Eren or getting to Marley or whatever, because, like, if the army of Colossus Titans are heading towards Marley, they're going to destroy everything. So we gotta salvage, or, you know, keep whatever kind of advanced technology we have right now, because soon it's all going to be destroyed. And so trying to get to that while getting through all these Jaegerists, all these people, Floke that is, like, leading the charge and everything, trying to get through to them and saying, like, how do we do this without killing them? Because at the end of the day, again, they are fighting for what they believe is right. You know, they believe that Eren is doing the right thing. They are not necessarily having, you know, malicious intent. You know, Floke is, like, the leader here, but, like, the majority of them, the people guarding the boat themselves that Armin and Connie go to, you know, they went through the same training together. They went through the same experience together. They just have two different perspectives. So how do we do this peacefully? And it all goes to hell, man. It all just goes to shit. They wind up like in situations where they have to fight, they have to kill, and it's horrible. Like it's very hype. Like it's super exciting, and like the battle sequences, like I said, they were drawn very, very well and easy to follow, and like a lot of great things were happening, a lot of moving pieces. You got Annie and Reiner who decide that like shit, we got to transform into our Titan form to like help these characters, which is so crazy to see considering like the beginning of the series, and now seeing them trying their best to protect the people of Paradis, and at the expense of their own bodies that are getting like blown apart by all of these cannons and you know, the survey, or not the survey corps, but like the soldiers that are there and everything. And it's just like, it's just so crazy. If you like saw this moment, you know, or like you never picture this moment happening back in like the early volumes of the series. You could never see like Reiner and Annie back to back protecting the, you know, Mikasa and everybody else during this battle. And I was wondering, because the last volume we got that Connie sequence where he was like trying to save his mom, and it was just like, it was kind of weird, out of place, but it gave Connie something to do, which he hadn't really had much to do recently. And he again steps up to the plate, and we do more with Connie in this volume. So I feel like as the series is like winding to a close, Isayama was like, man, I really got to give Connie something cool to do. Like, I haven't had him like really in the spotlight at all throughout the entire series, so let's have him do something. And he was forced to shoot one of the members that was protecting the boat, and it was a big moment for him, because again, they went into this trying to not have casualties, and then all of a sudden we're in an all-out battle where it was absolutely impossible not to, unfortunately. And he had to pull that trigger after Armin got like shot up, which is fine. You know, Armin's fine because he's got Titan powers now, so he's cool. He's gonna regenerate. But Connie here, he was kind of in a life or death situation, and did what he felt he had to do. We also get Falco transforming into his Jaw Titan for the first time because he wants to help. They told him not to because they're like, look, the first time you transform, you're not going to be able to control it, yada yada. This is a really bad time for you to do this. But he's a little boy and he wants to help, and so he does. And I was seriously expecting him to like accidentally, when he came up behind Jean, like I seriously thought that that was Jean's last moment. Like I thought Jean was out. As soon as I saw the new Jaw Titan pop up, I was like, fuck. Like, that's it. Thankfully that didn't happen. The Jaw Titan instead attacked the Cart Titan, but they were able to kind of cut him out, pull him out, and so that he was okay. But damn, that was a close call. I was pretty excited to see that. Gabby, once again, her perfect marksmanship. She was able to shoot Floke out of the sky, and as he falls into the ocean, and they were able to finally take the boat and get out of there, take the ship and get out of there. So that was like a super exciting sequence. And we also get a very heartwarming moment between these two older characters, between Theo, the military person from Marley, and also Keith Shaddis, the guy that trained our Survey Corps characters, our main characters, how they both chose to stay behind and destroy the other boat so that they wouldn't be able to follow them. And they have this moment, and these are both two like older male characters that, you know, have been through battle their entire lives on different sides, and they find themselves basically in the same place with one another. So like the idea is like it never mattered what side you were fighting on, because they wound up at the same place at the same time, having the same kind of meaningful death. So it's not like one was right and one was wrong. It was, you know, they were both conflicted. Neither was right, neither was wrong, and they both end up in this moment and share this moment together, you know, both being heroes. Not for a hero for Paradis and a hero for Marley, but both being heroes for humanity as a whole, which I thought was really beautiful. And they wound up sacrificing themselves for that, and I thought that was very, very well done. And perhaps, you know, even though I wasn't super emotionally attached to either of these characters, it might have been one of the best character deaths in the whole series, just for what it represented. And then this volume ends with a couple of revelations. One is that Historia knew about Aaron's plan. He told her, and so that's a very interesting development. And we also see the Colossus Titans facing him up against like all the armies and military of the rest of the world, all their ships, and it doesn't matter. Their cannons do nothing. The Titans are swimming under the ships, destroying the ships. It literally does not matter. And then we see Marley itself beginning to be invaded, so the Colossus Titans are already there. That's not going to be stopped. At least some people are going to die. They're not going to be able to stop this before at least a good chunk of people die. And we also see Aaron's Titan, like founding Titan form, and it's just this giant, massive, like skeleton thing with a hanging head, and it's here too, which I did not realize that Aaron was moving with the Titans. I thought like when he transformed, because of like just the way it looked, like the rib cage just looked like these giant legs that like crash into the ground. Like I thought he was going to be stationary. I am wrong. He has walked to Marley with the Colossus Titans, and he is here to wreak havoc, create genocide, and try to enact his plan to protect have the people of Paradis be prosperous and free of all enemies of the world, even if that means destroying innocent life. And the little flashback to his mom being eaten, him declaring that he's going to kill all of them, all of the enemies, and he's here to do just that. So this was a wild volume. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought this volume was great. I thought it summed up perfectly the ideas and themes of Attack on Titan itself. I thought the battle sequence was amazing. I thought everything about this volume was great. Now, I have 3 chapters left to read, so I will probably either do that as a live stream or something along those lines. I'll catch up with Attack on Titan with you guys, but I'm not sure when to do that, or maybe I gotta check out the release dates of the chapters. So now that I'm like pretty much caught up, I got 3 chapters left, I'll check the release dates. So if there is a new chapter coming out very, very soon, then I could just wait for that, and then I could review it as like a volume 33, even though it's not technically out yet. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but I'm going to think about it and do it that way. So what do you guys think about volume 32 of Attack on Titan? I absolutely loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. One of my favorite volumes in the series. Would be in the top 10, probably the top 5. Absolutely love volume 32. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. I really, really do appreciate it. It does mean a lot to me. I don't take it for granted. Every view I really do appreciate from the bottom of my heart. So if you like the video, leave a comment, leave thoughts, theories, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to stick around and see more. Other than that, I'll talk to you next time.